Yeah. And so, okay. So where did you, like, what's your passion about, like, what is about nutrition and conscious cooking? What is this passion about food?
So for me, really food, it became a fuel to my body, right? I don't look at it anymore as just something to fill me up or to taste good, but really to fuel my body. And I became plant-based many, many years ago. So back when I was still living with my mom, she would just cook, and I would eat whatever would be on my plate. And I would always ask questions. And she just, she was basically like, you just eat it, oh, it's just food. Oh, it's just good. But I wanted to understand, okay, what are the benefits of it? So it was like a personal interest that I had on learning what these foods do to you. And I found out that you can literally in nature find every food for anything that you may lack or need, or if you have, if you want more energy, or if you want to see better. So for literally everything, you can find a food in nature. And so I became very passionate about. And ever since, I love to cook. For me, it's kind of like art. It's putting a piece together. And I'm also like a spontaneous cooker. So a lot of times I just buy stuff and then I look in my fridge and I just mix stuff together. And for me, it's almost like creating magic. And it becomes really like a fun way for me to fuel my body. And so this is what it's going to be in this cooking class. Also, we're going to learn about the different foods, but also very important, it has to be very tasteful. There is this notion that we think healthy food is not healthy, it's not tasty, and only the unhealthy stuff is tasty. And for me, that's like one of my big things that I want to first of all show how easy it is to cook healthy and how delicious it is. And at the same time, to learn about the most important thing, which is nutrition, nutrients, right? So when we eat, we want to make sure it's nutrient-dense food. And so we're going to learn a little bit about that today.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I hear an accent. Like I hear a little bit of an accent. What's that? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Spain, but I grew up in Switzerland, in the German part of Switzerland, and I moved to America, or closer, Los Angeles, 7 years ago, and I speak fluently 6 different languages.
What? 6 languages? How do you say bon appetit in Swiss?
Anguata.
Wow.
Very
Anguata?
easy.
Wait, say it again. Anguata?
Anguata.
Anguata.
So that, for example, right, in my culture, it's very common that before you eat, you wait until everyone is at the table, right? Before not everybody is at the table, you're not touching your food. And then you start after you wish everybody like enguata, which means enjoy your meal. And that's when we actually start eating. So I noticed that, each culture has different things. And I noticed when I came here to America and I would be invited for dinners, for example, they would put my plate on the table and I would just sit there and I wouldn't touch it. I would just wait. And so a lot of times they look at me like, what, you don't like it? And I'm like, oh no, I'm just waiting for everybody to be ready. And like, no, go ahead, start. So they really thought that I was either, not liking it or just being weird. And it's just a cultural thing that for us, it's really, a thing that we do together. It's a social thing. And it's always also a celebration, right? It's a blessing to have food on the table. And I know for a lot of us, it's normal, right? We're lucky enough and we're blessed to have food on our plate every day. But let's not forget that it's really a blessing to have that. And so for me, it's each time a celebration. It's really a party. And that's what I make cooking to be.
I love that. Okay, awesome. Wait, one last thing and then you could start, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You ready? Last thing is, what advice would you give to a young Nessa? Like if you're like 12 years old, 11 years old, what would you say in terms of food and healthy and being healthy?
Honestly, I was so picky. I didn't like vegetables, but I realized it's not necessarily because I didn't taste them. It was just in my head, just because it looked weird or I don't know, because nobody else was liking it. I was like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want it. So I would just be open and taste, and then play around with everything. If you're more a person that likes it more salty or more sweet, you can literally play with everything and just be open and try everything, because you never know. Sometimes the looks are deceiving, right? Something like this may not look very, very delicious, but trust me, I'm going to show you how delicious this is going to be.
I like colors. Like if you like, I like nowadays, like it's colorful, man, I want to eat that, but not like a mushroom colorful, but those kind of colorful.
A lot of colors here. So that's a very important part too. The more colors, the more nutrients. So
yeah,
we're playing with colors too, and that's where the art part comes in, right? Yeah. We're playing with colors, we're playing with shapes, we're playing with like tastes, everything. So it's really like putting an art piece together.
Yay! Okay, Nessa, awesome. You ready?
Yes, I am very ready.
All right, I'm muting everybody for now. You're going to be live. It's going to be focused on you, and then whenever you want to ask from the audience, or if you want, just let me know, and then I can unmute. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Here you go.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I am super excited. And what we're going to do today is basically a typical American dish that is considered super unhealthy, but I'm going to show you how you can make this super duper healthy. And what we're going to do is a plant-based burger with homemade sweet potato fries. And the homemade burger is going to be done out of quinoa, which I already have pre-cooked here. So if you can see it, quinoa is like those little tiny balls that are full of nutrients and protein. So it's super, super healthy. You can also use that always as a replacement for rice. It's a little bit like a little bit healthier substitute for rice. But this one is really simple. You just cook it in water and it becomes a little soft. And that's basically it. It's done basically in like 10 minutes. And we're gonna, I shed here some carrots in small little pieces. We're gonna mix that together with avocado. Here we got a beautiful half avocado. And you can already see here playing with different colors. And that's gonna be basically the beginning of our little burger that we're doing. So I'm gonna put my computer a little bit lower so we can see what I'm mixing here. Okay, first thing is I add the carrots in a bowl. Who thought that you can make a burger with avocado, carrots, and quinoa? And it's gonna taste so good. So the avocado really helps with giving it like a nice consistency so that we can form nice little burgers out of it. And then what I have here, so if you guys want to write that down, so maybe you want to do that sometime at home, but literally what you can do is, okay, here. So we had, so you can write that down if you want. We had half an avocado. We had 1 cup of shredded carrots. And I'm going to add here melted butter. It's 1/4 of 1/4 cup, and this is vegan butter, so it's not made out of regular dairy. And so I'm going to mix all of this together, and it's going to look really funny. See, now what happens if you mix green and orange? It becomes a little brown. And then what I have here is 1 cup of almond flour. So you sprinkle some of it. So it's gonna create like a nice little, almost like a dough. And you just mix all of this together until it has a nice shape. So this is how it looks now. And you will also see it's really quick and easily done. And it's fun because you can play with and being a little nasty, So now it has already like a nice little consistency here. And once it looks like this, we can add the quinoa. So this is 1 cup of cooked quinoa. And now I'm gonna grab a little fork and just mix all of this together. And this, you guys, is basically already our vegan burger. So super simple, very nutritious. As you can see, we already have the protein in there from the quinoa. Then we have really good healthy fats from the avocado. And then for the carrots, we have vitamins, and it's also really good for your eyesight. So see, this is how it looks now. It's like a nice little dough. This is going to become an amazing, beautiful burger. What I'm gonna add now, I'm gonna put a little bit of sea salt, just to give it a little bit of salt here. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. This you can really just add however you like it. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of basil to give it a nice little Mediterranean flavor. And then what I have here is some onion powder. Adding this. And then I'm gonna stir it one more time so all the flavors are evenly distributed. And this is it, you guys. Now comes the fun part. Now we can make little patties out of this. So as you can see, we just made our own burgers in literally 5 minutes. The only thing you have to prepare is to cook the quinoa before, and that takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So now I'm gonna take a little bit here in my hand. Important, every time before you start cooking, you wash your hands, very important. So you make little patties like this. This is how it looks. It looks yummy, yummy to me. And then because we have already butter in here, we don't have to worry that it's gonna stick on the parchment paper. So I just have here like an oven form, and I put some parchment paper on top. And then you can make whichever size you like. You can make little patties or big patties. I'm doing like medium size, so it's like the size of my palm. You want to make sure that they're more or less evenly. So here with this, I can make 4 patties. So this is the measurements for 4 patties. Good. And this is how it looks. Almost looks like little cookies. And trust me, they're just as good as cookies. So, and now we're gonna add some sweet potato fries. And sweet potatoes is really one of my favorite potatoes, you guys. They are considered to be a little bit healthier, but they have that sweet, nice taste that it almost feels like a little dessert when you eat that. So what I'm doing, I just peeled my sweet potato, and then I'm just gonna cut it in pieces, whichever size you like. And when you make your own sweet potato fries, you will see it's so much more healthier, because what they do when you go and eat your fries somewhere outside. They fry it in oil, and usually they use very, very bad oil, so it's not that healthy. And really, it doesn't even need that much oil. So what I do, I just cut it here, a few pieces, and you will see how little of oil we're gonna use for those. And there's also differences in oil, right? So there's like healthy oils and not so healthy oils. For example, olive oil is always really great, so you ain't gotta be worried about that. Or avocado oil. So, and again, we're playing here with beautiful colors. I need, okay, almost done with this. So quick question here in the group. Have you guys ever tried, you can like say yes or no. Have you ever tried sweet potato fries? Yay, Natalia says yes. Do you like them? Yes, good, awesome. Because I learned not too long ago that some people never tried them before. And I was like, oh, really? Well, then let me spread the word more about those, because I feel really they are delicious. So, almost done. So they're a little hard to cut, so you just have to be a little patient here. And I like them big. See? So almost done here. And I'm already preheating my my oven. So that's another thing with cooking too. Preparation makes it so much easier. So see how I already cut and prepared everything? So even when I cook at home by myself or for my friends, I always try to prepare everything as best as possible, because then you're not stressed, right? Cooking should be fun, and if you are well prepared, then you don't have to stress about it. So, gonna use this base, put them here. And this is it, you guys. This is all you need for fries. We don't need any extra ingredient, right? So a lot of times when we want to look at stuff that we buy that is not homemade, let's look at the ingredients. So a perfect example is fries. It should just have potatoes. So in this case, sweet potatoes. And then the only thing that I'm going to use is one of my favorite things, olive oil. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top of all the potatoes. As you can see, it's not a lot. Then I'm going to sprinkle some salt. I like to put a little pepper on it. And one thing that I like a lot on it too, but this is just me, so that's really if you like it or not. This is a red pepper, so basically chili flakes. I like to make them a little bit spicy. And then once you have this, you can just use your hands to mix it, make sure everything is evenly. And for this dish, you don't have to be a great cook. This could literally be a dish that you can do if this is your first time that you ever try to cook. You see how easy this is and how much fun it can be, right? So now my hands are all dirty, so that's even fun. And now you guys, this is basically it. We're gonna put that in the oven. It's going to be around 20 minutes and in around 375 degrees. So you can write that down, 20 minutes, 375 degrees. And also make sure you just check to make sure that like every 15 minutes, after 15 minutes, just have a look and see how it looks. But it's usually around 20 minutes. And now in the meantime, you guys, we're gonna do something fun. Clean the dishes. No, just kidding. I'm gonna do that afterwards. But what we're gonna do now, I have this beautiful plate here full of fruits and veggies. Now, I know that sometimes we don't like to eat our veggies and our vitamins and our fruits. When I was a little girl, it was hard for me sometimes to eat that stuff. And I don't know why, because now I think it's really, really delicious. Besides that, it's just really, really good for your body. But there is a great way how you can still make sure that you intake all your vitamins, and we're gonna make it taste so good that you're gonna love it. So what I cut here, we have beets. Have you girls ever eaten beets before? Yes. So this, for example, it's very known that a lot of people don't like it. Either they don't like it or they just don't use it. But it has so many benefits to you. Besides that, it has high in iron, high in potassium. It is really good for your immune system. And especially in these times, we want to make sure that we boost our immune system. So a great way to intake them without having to eat it like that or cook it, because I know it sometimes can taste a little weird if you're not used to it. What I love to do is to put it in a juice. And if we add some other stuff like apples, it's gonna make it really, really, really sweet. We're also gonna add some oranges because we need that vitamin C, very important. And I'm gonna add carrots. That's actually also gonna give a nice sweetness. So this is going to be a full-on immune boosting juice. And I'm gonna also show you something that we can do with the juicing pulp. Because every time when I cook, I try to have as least waste as possible. So I try to use everything that I have as best as possible. So I'm gonna bring you guys over here where there's my juicer. Let me see where I put you. Maybe over here. Okay. So I have here a little juicer. You can find them if you don't have one. They're literally available in any store. You can find very affordable ones. Once I bought myself one, I ended up juicing every single day. And I'm gonna show you how fun, how easy, and how quick it is. And the most important part, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with the pulp that most people throw away. But we don't wanna throw that away because that is a lot of nutrients and fiber right there. So here's my plate again. It's easy if you prepare everything already and you cut your favorite fruits and vegetables. And it's also great to juice all your greens, right? I know that a lot of kids, they don't like kale or spinach. So if you can just sneak it in a juice, it's really, really good. So you still have all the nutrients and you can use it in a juice. And if you add apples, as I said, it's always gonna make it very sweet. So let me make sure this is on. Yep, it's on. And then so now all I'm doing is I'm turning it on and I'm gonna put it, each piece. It's super quick and simple. See, and this is the sound like a party, right? We can make this a little party here. Sometimes it sounds really funny. And if you want to write down the ingredients, what I used 2 beets, 1 apple, 2 oranges, and 3 little carrots. So I can repeat it afterwards again in case you missed it. So we're almost done. So now you guys can see, basically this is how it works, right? You would put the fruit on top and then it squeezes the juice out of it. And what comes out is the so-called juicing pulp. This is that part. And then over here, we have the juice that I can now let in. So now the juice is done, as you can see, super simple, super quick. And a whole plate of fruits is in this juice. So this is a great way to sneak in your daily vitamins. If you're not someone that likes to eat fruits every day, because we all know we should eat at least 5 different portions of fruits every day to get a good amount of vitamins and nutrients. And if you don't find yourself doing that, this is a very easy way to just drink it. But now I want to show you guys something that I absolutely love. So as I said earlier, this is the juicing pulp, right? So this is very dry now because it literally, it took out all the juice, and this is now the dry part of the fruit. This is still full of nutrients, especially fiber. So what juicing does, it takes out all the vitamins in liquid form, but it also gets rid of the fiber. Fiber is very important for our digestion. So for me, it's terrible to throw that away, right? Because there's full of nutrients and it's still so much food, basically. So I created something that I absolutely love now, and I do it every single day after I do my juice, right? So usually I do juice for like 3 days. You can keep a juice like that if it's in a closed and sealed cup for up to 72 hours in the fridge. So what we're gonna do with this is a flatbread. And this is really amazing. Now I know that sounds weird. How are we doing a flatbread with juicing pulp? I'm gonna show you, and it's delicious and it's super simple. So what we're gonna do, I have here my blender. So I'm gonna put the whole pulp in my blender. And really, it doesn't matter what kind of pulp you have. You can do it with fruits, with vegetables, with a mixture of it. Like I do a lot of times, I do my celery juice and then I use the celery pulp for the same thing. So you can literally use it for everything. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some water here. So basically, we're gonna like almost fill it up with water. So it looks like this. Did somebody write something in the chat? Oh, thank you, Natalia. It was nice to meet you. Awesome. Okay, so here I added some water. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some chia seeds. I don't know if you've ever tried chia seeds, but chia seeds are really, really great. They're also full of, it's a great source for of mineral, of protein, and omega-3. So really, really good. So basically what I put here, I add like, what is this, about half a cup, maybe a little bit more. So now we have the juicy pulp, we have water, and we have chia seeds. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna blend that. And while I'm blending it with the blender, I'm gonna add some almond flour. So I'm gonna bring you guys back here again. I'm gonna bring my blender over here. So now this is going to be very thick and it's gonna take some time to blend. So if you get stuck, it's very easy. You just move it around a little bit with your fork because it's very, very thick. So the blender needs some time to really. Okay. I'm gonna make sure it blends everything, not just the bottom part. So I swirl it around a little bit. So one more time. Great. I'm gonna add a little bit more water so it's not so thick. Okay. I think this is enough now. So basically it has this consistency. And now what I'm gonna add is around 1 cup of flour. So I have it already here. And then we're just gonna twist it around, twirl it around. So it becomes kind of like a dough. This is how it looks. Make sure you grab all the way down from the bottom so you mix it well. I'm gonna add a little bit more flour because I feel like I got a lot of pulp here today. So you can use any kind of flour. Almond flour or chickpea flour is usually the healthiest option. This is basically it. So it has this consistency. And it's gonna be super cool because it's a pink flatbread. So it's really looking, it's gonna look really, really fun. I'm gonna wash here real quick that bowl. then we can use this here. So it almost looks like ice cream, doesn't it? And this is basically the dough for our flatbread. And as you can see, it's a super healthy version to do your own little flatbread. You can also make it super thin and make crackers out of it. So there's different options for it. For me, important is to really use all the foods, so we don't have to waste. So that would have been a lot of choosing pulp to waste. And basically this flatbread is full with fiber, with protein, with omega-3. And if you try it at home, you will see how delicious this is. Now I'm gonna see if I can add a little bit more. Flour is done. And then I'm gonna use my other oven fork. Put some parchment paper on top. And how cool is this? A pink flatbread. So now literally we're just putting it on the parchment paper and you spread it. I'm gonna come a little closer to the camera so you can see this. So you just spread it around, make it fun. And to me, this always kind of looks like ice cream. And then again, you can decide how thick you want it. If you make it super, super thin, then it's basically like little crackers that you're doing. I like to make it like medium thick, so it's more so like a flat bread. And then you can use this flatbread for sandwiches, for burgers. So we will see. This takes usually quite some time. So today we're not going to use it as for the bread for our burgers, but hopefully by the time we're done here, it's going to be done, and then I can show it to you how it looks when it's done. Because it takes about 30 minutes for it to be done in the oven. So you spread it evenly and nicely all around. And this to me, it's so much fun because it really feels like I'm painting here. So this is basically done, and I can put it now in the oven as well. So make it look nice and even. Here the little corner. And this is basically our flatbread, you guys. Have you ever seen a pink flatbread? Right? I feel like it makes so much fun to eat something that is pink. So we're just gonna put it in the oven, and it's gonna take around 30 to 40 minutes at around 400 or 375. So, and at the same time, you guys, I can now check on our burgers. They need probably like 5 more minutes. And now I'm gonna show you guys, if you're not gonna use the whole juice today, so the best part is to put it in a very good sealed mason jar. And I just have to find the top. I don't know where it is. So basically I have everything full of mason jars. And again, conscious cooking, you guys, you want to create at least waste as possible. So a lot of times when I buy something like, let's say a marinara sauce, right, for like pasta, then I use the jar for me to like put my juices in or just drink. So even though I would, you know, recycle it, you can also just use it for your own home. Then you have that, and you can put it in the fridge, and that can last up to 72 hours in your fridge. So usually I do for like 3 days in advance, and then I have my juices, and I have to just do it every third day. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. And organization is really important too when it comes to cooking. So I try to always keep it as clean as possible. And so in the meantime, when you have to wait for something to get ready, use the time to, you know, to clean some dishes or put stuff apart that you don't need anymore. So for example, all these spices now I can put to the side so they're not anymore in my cooking surface. And now let's look how our burgers are looking. I am super excited. So they got pretty big already. The potatoes may need a little bit more, but the burgers are almost done. It looks so yummy to me. So, as I told you guys, you can use the flatbread to actually use it for your burgers as your bread. But since now we're not gonna have enough time till it's done, I just have here vegan multigrain thins. And we can put these in the oven. So this is how they look. They're already pre-cut, so it makes it very, very easy. I'm gonna put those in the oven for like a few minutes just to make them warm. Oh, we got some music. Nice. Beautiful. So, now what I have here, you guys, this is vegan mozzarella that we're gonna use for our burgers. So I'm gonna cut little thin slices of it. And then we're almost done with our burgers and the fries. So I'm super excited I wish you guys could taste it. I wish I could just send it over through Zoom and you can catch it. That would be amazing. But unfortunately, well, good for me. Now I have here 4 burgers for me. Okay, so this is how the vegan mozzarella looks. And I'm just gonna cut little slices. So the only difference here that this is made out of nuts and it's not made out of cow milk. To me, it tastes really, really good. And it's really, really creamy. So I'm just cutting here like a little thin slice. And here another one. And usually it's made out of cashews. So a lot of times I make also my own nut milk with that juicer. You can also make your own nut milk. So all you have to do is buy, for example, almonds, and you put it into the juicer. It has a special program on it, and then you can make your own nut milk that is really, really amazing. Good, so the bread is ready. I'm gonna bring in my plates. And now is the fun part. Now we can make it look pretty. So this is already pretty hot. And then what I have here, you guys, so this is a little sauce that I like to buy. Everything is locally. It's from a local farm that they do that. It's basically a green onion, a nut-based dip. So very important to where you get your ingredients, right? Conscious cooking is not just about how to cook and what to cook. It's also about where do you get your ingredients. So most of the time I go to the farmer's market, and you just want to make sure that most of the stuff is locally and seasoned, right? There are certain fruits, they only come seasonal. So you want to eat the stuff that is seasonal. So now I just put a little bit of that dip here that really, it's so delicious. It's based out of nuts. I think it has some mustard and some green onions. So, but literally you can put here your favorite sauce, and even if it's ketchup, that's okay. You can use ketchup to put on your burger.
My question is, why should we pay attention to the ingredients? Like, what does that do?
The ingredients, like where they come from?
Like where they come from.
So when they're locally sourced, basically, they're fresh, right? And then what we're helping the environment by not, because a lot of times when we get stuff that come from abroad or overseas, you have to calculate that that stuff has to be transported from wherever it comes from. So it's not so fresh anymore. So a lot of times when we get vegetables or fruits that come from like exotic places, they have to pick them when they're not ripe. And then they have like a ripening process after they're already picked. And so by the time they're picked and they get to you on your plate, it may be 3 or 6 weeks that have passed. So a lot of the nutrients in that process gets lost. So the more local they are, the more fresh they are. So when you go to like a farmer's market, you can ask a lot of times the farmers, when did you pick this food? Where did it come from? And it's usually a stuff of like, you know, it's a matter of a few days. So it's way fresher. It has more of the vitamins and the nutrients. So I didn't have time to lose any of that. And at the same time, you're helping the environment, because then it doesn't have to have those transporting costs that usually comes with either like the trucks or boats, ships. So that's basically the reason why we want to source the nutrients locally. So I hope that helped as an answer. Thank you so much for that question. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these back in the oven for a little bit so it can melt a little bit the mozzarella. And then we used the other half for the patties, if you remember. So I'm gonna use this half to put it in our burgers on top. So again, making sure we're using all the ingredients. So I'm just putting a little bit of avocado on both patties. So this is how it looks. And now I'm gonna check how the patties look. I think they are done. It smells delicious. Yes. Da-da-da-da. Here it is. So now we're gonna put it, let me see if I can show it to you. Now we're gonna place it here on our bread. And let me see the potatoes. Oh, yes. Amazing, they are ready as well. So I'm gonna put it out. So with the sweet potato fries, you wanna make sure that they're like on the inside, nice and soft. And then if you wanna keep it in a little longer, so on the outside, they're super crispy. That's how I like them the most. And right now they are super perfect.
Nessa, you're gonna have to eat that and show us how it tastes. Like you're gonna have to like share with us how it tastes.
Listen, I feel bad because I would love to share this. So now I'm gonna grab my little bread. Always make sure because it's hot. Be careful. So now this is nice and soft, the mozzarella. Now actually I'm gonna put this on top of here and this on top of here. And then what I like to use as well, I have here some arugula. So I'm gonna put some arugula leaves in between, wash it real quick. They're also from the farmer's market. And a lot of times when you get like those greens, they don't look as fresh anymore. When you wash them with cold water, they get fresh right away. Good, so I'm gonna use some of it here in the burger to give it some extra green and nutrients and also some crisp, because texture when you eat is very important too. So every time when I cook, I try to make sure that I have soft parts, but also some crispiness in there. So.
What does it smell like, Nessa?
Oh my God, it smells so good, you guys. I don't even want to like, I don't want to talk too much about that because I feel bad because I feel like you guys would love to try that. Oh, where is my other glass?
Sometimes, Nessa, I like to, like when I can't actually taste something and it's so far away or if it's on TV, I pretend like I imagine the taste and I could taste it.
Well, you guys, so basically here it is. Your vegan burger with sweet potato fries. So if I open this up again, we have here avocado, we have some arugula. The patty was made out of quinoa, carrots, and avocado. And then right now we just used a multigrain bread. And then here the sweet potato, that's all that is, just with some salt and pepper and whatever you want to use. And then of course, if we had more time, instead of the bread, you can use the flatbread that is actually in the oven right now. So we can check on it right now how it looks, but it's going to take a little longer. So you can use that flatbread for your burgers, for your sandwiches, for your breakfast. And I really wanted to show you guys that whenever you do choosing, to use the pulp and not to throw it away. And this is Anna, who's trying to sneak in here.
Hi, Anna.
So she's gonna be very happy because one of these burgers are for her.
Wait, okay, can you, Anna, can you show us, like, can you, like,
Okay, let's try this.
show us what it tastes like, so we can
Okay.
experience it.
Honest
We can experience it through you.
All right. Honest opinion. This is your burger.
I thought I was gonna be the tester.
No, but hold on. But you have to, like, act, like, you have to show us how it tastes, because it's not, it has to, you know, be very emotive.
Ah, okay. Uh-oh, see, this is the moment that makes me so nervous.
All right.
Hey, and I got a question for you guys quickly too. Do you guys ever say, like, any sort of prayer or anything before you eat it? Like, is there anything you do before you eat something?
So for us, as I said earlier, like, it's just to bless the food and just to enjoy the food, which I said earlier in German, we call it engueta. We both speak Spanish, so we said like, buen appetito. And yeah, but it's very important, obviously, to bless your food, just to be grateful. And also there's a science behind it that actually changes the energy, the frequency, the molecules of the food that you bless. So for me, when I create these type of foods, it feels like I'm creating life and I'm eating life. So I put life into life to create more life. And this is basically the whole magic for me. So that's why that's why I nourish myself plant-based, because this is so much life in these foods. And when I add those to my body, it just gives me more life. And now it's gonna give Anna more life.
Yeah, buddy.
Because we all want more life.
All right. So you ready to eat?
Yes. All right. Enjoy.
Okay, you ready? Oh my god. Hold on. I gotta get in position, guys. Hold on.
Da, 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 da.
Salud.
Oh my god. Oh.
Oh my god, bro. Listen, I think I'm just gonna take hers too. It's delicious. Wow. So
Let me see the producer.
I mean,
fries. Or the too hot?
I'm taking a little one. Hold on.
Yeah,
My